announcement, and there is a flyer in our bulletin announcing our Fall Ladies Bible Study. There are two options. The first option is Experiencing God, and the second option is called When You Pray. We are going to have two different leaders for each one. The time that it's going to start is at 6:30 instead of 7, and we're going to start September 13th, and sign up is in the back, and you can sign up until August 13th because that allows us enough time to get the books so we as leaders can be prepared. So I'm excited about these. If you have any questions, my contact information's on there. You can either sign up back there or just text me. Let me know.
Also, next Sunday in the evening at 6:30, we'll be having a homemade ice cream social here at the church. We're going to be a homemade ice cream with all kinds of toppings. And in addition to that, we'll be having music by John Drysdale, as well as Mackenzie Duvall. They'll be out back in the parking lot, and so bring a lawn chair along to enjoy that. And you're encouraged to sign up back at Sign Up Central, and so that we have an idea of how many you're planning on attending for that'll be next Sunday evening, August 6th at 6:30.
Hello, Community Grace. And if I were singing at the ice cream social, I would be out back by the dumpster. They don't let me do that. Good to see you all. And another announcement, August the 20th, we're planning on having communion after church, so like a communion lunch. This is not your typical carry-in lunch. This is for only those who know Jesus as their Lord and Savior, and we practice threefold communion here at Community Grace Church. So we actually share a simple meal. We have feet washing and the bread and cup. So August the 20th, for those who are able to do that, we would love to have you. You do not have to be a member of our church, but you do need to know Jesus personally as your Lord and Savior. Also, it's cool to have the youth group here today. I'm not speaking today. We're going to hear about Momentum that happened last week, and it freed up my week, and I really enjoyed it. I even went for a prayer walk this morning. Just had all kinds of freedom, so that's kind of cool to be part of that. So thanks, guys, for giving me a little extra time to do some other things. Excited about that. I look at Psalm 40. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. No matter what we're going through, the Lord is with us in that moment and puts a new song in our heart. He is always current and relevant with what we're going through. Many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. When you think of fear, you may think of the opposite of faith, but they actually go hand in hand. Our God is great. He's awesome. He's deserving of our reverence. You could even say He could be frightening, and yet He is incredibly gracious and good. That's why the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. When we really respect Him and knowing Him changes our lives, then that's really having the effect that it's supposed to have in our lives. So I'm looking forward to what's happened with our youth group this last week and how God has touched and spoken to these guys. So we're excited about that. Let's just take a moment and ask the Lord to continue to bless our time together. Lord, we thank You so much for loving us. Thank You that we can come together and worship You, and I pray that that will happen today sincerely, in spirit, and in all truth. And I pray that we'll catch a little of that fire that happened with our youth group last week, and that we will be encouraged in the way that they have been encouraged in You. Thank You that You are faithful and true. Bless us with Your presence today. In Jesus' name I pray. All God's people said.
Let's stand together as we sing a song that celebrates the one who reigns forever as a friend of ours.
Crush the enemy underneath my feet. You guys know this song. Sing it out loud with us this morning, especially you youth group. Come on, lift them up. And I searched the world, for it couldn't fill me. A man's empty praise, treasures of faith, never enough. When you came along and put me back together, and every desire is satisfied here in your love. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. I know it's true, and I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you sing them all, still call me friend. There's a God of the mountain, He's the God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty to ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn praise into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing. Come on, sing it out. Come on, kids. Oh, there's nothing. Come on, sing it. You turn grace into gods. Come on. You turn grace into goddess. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
Go ahead and have a seat.
We are the generation, we've got a reputation. It's time to lead the way. We are the motivation, just got to activate it. There is no time to wait.
So as you can see, it was a really fun week.
Oh, I'm just bringing momentum here, baby.
With
That's
this,
what I'm talking
this
about.
guy all week long, man. His energy is just amazing. It was such a great time. That last song that we sang with the clapping there and stuff like that, that is a song that we did at Momentum. I asked them if we could do that this morning because I know all of our students would know it. But if you could just imagine for a second, 2,000 students sitting in an auditorium singing that song together. It's amazing. It's amazing. And like they're all getting into it with the clapping and everything else. And it's so amazing. And do you remember the night when the night when the power went out?
Oh my goodness.
In the middle of the session?
That was just, I mean, the power went out, it was pitch black in there. You know, all these kids are all influenced by each other and they're always like, oh, it's dark out. But they were all silent. And then we started to sing the song Waymaker. And it was so quiet in there with everybody in there that we could hear just a guitar being played on stage. And we all followed that one guitar. And it was
Oh, and then they all took their phones out.
look,
They had their
goosebumps. I was
phones
thinking
out,
about
turned the
it.
flashlights on them, and
Yeah.
they're waving around, which lit up the auditorium as they
awesome.
were getting all the tech stuff back up. I was like, that was probably one of the most powerful moments of worship, I think, that entire week, was just that silence, and then all of a sudden, as it just started to build, all the students began singing that song together, just a cappella, basically. You could kind of hear the guitar in the background a little bit because it wasn't coming through the speakers, and it was just this moment of serenity, which was just so cool to see that and to see how the students did that. So just as we're getting ready to get started here, just to let you guys know what we're doing. This morning we're doing a recap a little bit of what we did at Momentum Youth Conference. If you're not familiar with Momentum Youth Conference, it is a youth conference that our fellowship puts on every year, and it's got about 2,000 students that gather together on a college campus, and this year it was in at Indiana Wesleyan University in Marion, Indiana. So we got in a couple of 15-passenger vans and a car, pulling a trailer, and we had 37 people total, 33 students, and 4 leaders. And we got into the vans with exactly 37 seats, so it was nice and tight.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it took us about 10 hours to get there. You could say people might have been a little grumpy at the time, but it was good. It was really good. I will have to say, to give our students props, we had a great week with no drama, really. It was just a good week. They bonded together so well, and they did so good with just not being grumpy and all that kind of stuff while we were there, which they had plenty of time to do that.
We're speaking for the boys. I mean,
Yeah,
us
true.
boys, we were
True.
good. I mean, you have that normal girl stuff. I mean, you women know.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
I can't speak for that.
So this morning we're just gonna tell you a little bit about what happened. We're gonna have a video that I did, just has some of the students speaking on there and stuff. Not everybody's on the video. We kind of ran out of time shooting some of it, and afterwards I'm like, man, we didn't get everybody on there, but that's okay.
No, what really happened is they ran away.
Yeah, some of them ran away.
They knew they found out we were want to record them and get some stuff, and they're like, we're hiding.
Exactly. So,
Micah.
so we have a video we're going to show just for that. We're going to have the students come up on stage here after a bit, and some of them may even want to share a little bit about what they have experienced at Momentum, that kind of thing. I will not put them on the spot and force them to speak, but they will be up here if they would like to speak. So before we get started with any of that, I'm going to open up with a word of prayer, and then we're going to get into this. Father, just thank you so much for this opportunity for us to be here this morning, Father. Father, I thank you so much for this church. I thank you for their devotion to the youth ministry and to the children's ministry and that in our church, Father. And you can see how much they value that and how much they put into that, Father. And I just thank you so much for it. Father, this week that we had at Momentum was a phenomenal week of drawing closer to you, Father, and being able to take students and introducing some of them to Jesus, and also helping others to deepen their relationship with Jesus. And it was just a wonderful time, Father. And I know that each and every student that went was impacted in some way, Father, and I just thank you for that. I pray for all of the students who were there, the entire 2,000 students that were there, Father. I pray that you would just continue to work in their lives and continue to allow it to be exactly what it is, momentum, Father, as they go home from that conference and they get back into their daily routines, Father. I pray that we would continue to be able to stand strong for you, Father, wherever they are, whether that's in school or work or anything, Father, with their friends. I pray that you would just allow them to be able to be a light for you in a dark world. Father, these things I ask in your name. Amen. All right, we're going to have a seat here. We're going to ask a couple of lovely ladies to join us at this time, if they would like to come up here.
It's like pulling teeth.
Yeah. At first, there was a little bit of reluctance when we first said about them joining us, but they're here. They're like, we're not going to speak, right? I'm like, maybe. I got a mic for you. So just want to share a little bit about Momentum. First off, I'm going to just show you this. This was the theme for the week. The theme was known. Is what the theme was, and that's what's on all of our shirts. If you see any of the youth or any of us, it's the shirts that we're wearing. And the idea was to know God and to be known by God. And what does that mean? And the verse was 1 John 4:16. We know how much God loves us, and we have put our trust in His love. And so that was the theme for the week. All of the speakers talked about that, about how do we know God, and then how are we known by God? How do we have a relationship with Him? And they were really some powerful speakers this week. There's one name that comes to mind, and I don't know. Do any guys think you know the name I'm thinking of? Any of you guys think? Go ahead. Mark what? Mark Clark. Yes. Mark Clark was kind of a fan favorite. You'll see that in a little video that we had put together. He was kind of a fan favorite. He was a phenomenal speaker.
He was awesome.
He was different.
Awesome.
He was different. He really kept their attention. He was funny, but he also he was really good at bringing it home and really bringing out the point that he was trying to make. And his point was that God can use anyone. If you're willing, He will use anyone, despite. In fact, his thing was God uses you not because of you, but in spite of you. He has Tourette's syndrome. If any of you know what that is, he had a traumatic experience when he was younger, apparently. Wasn't born with it, but he had this traumatic experience when he was younger, and out of that developed Tourette's. And his face twitches, and he can't control it and things like that. And he said he was telling us that, for a long time, and I don't know how much it still happens, but he would say things like he cannot control the things he says a lot of times. Like he'll just scream something out, and it'll just be like a word or whatever, and a lot of times it would be like a cuss word. And he said, I can't control it. It just happens. It's not, I don't try to do it. I can't control it. I can't stop it. It just happens. And he's like, when he first started thinking about it, somebody was like, I think you need to be you're being called to be a pastor, and you should be a speaker. And he's like, me? He's like, are you kidding? He's like, I can't even control the things I say. I can't control my face and all this stuff. And he literally was on stage talking about it, and he's like, and he looks at the screen at the one point, and he's like, look at that screen up there. He's like, do you think I want to be up here right now? He's like, look at my face twitching and all this stuff. And he's like, look at that. He's like, his words were, he's like, I look like a moron. He's like, seriously. He said, but God's using me in powerful ways. He's a pastor in Canada of a very large church that has a lot of campuses now all over Canada and stuff. And he's been used in some pretty amazing ways. And so he was a really good speaker.
Yeah, I definitely love. He used like his physical appearance because a lot of the younger generation were really worried about like what we look like or what we say, how we act. I mean, he just totally trumped all of that. He made fun of himself.
Yeah.
The whole time, like. He's like, look on the big screen. He's like, look at my face. Look at all the twitching. And but it was just awesome how he just brought all that together and how God used him. He said, if anyone, there's not a specific someone, if anyone. And he probably, I forget what verse that was. I forget. But the verse starts out with the word anyone, and he was on that word for like a half hour.
Yeah.
He preached on that one word for a half
anyone.
hour. It was it was awesome.
But
awesome.
it was really good. Really challenged the students. You guys have anything you want to share? You got the mic. You can go first.
There's so many things that were amazing. I'd probably piggyback on what Pat said earlier. When you're in a room with 2,000 students, it's like watching them worship. I cried. I could cry now. I cried every time just seeing them pour out their love to God. It's like a little taste of heaven. When you're there, I feel like, and why am I crying? I'm always emotional. You guys have amazing kids. Amazing. If you don't know these kids, take time to get to know them. Every single one of them. Sometimes teens really get a bad rap, and they have so much to offer. I'm going to cry looking at all of you guys. I'm proud of you guys for what you did this week and the brave things that you did and spoke up. Elena touched my heart this week with being such a leader. There was a night that we always go after our last session into a small group with our youth group all over campus. And one night we went back to our dorms, and the guys had a time to themselves, and the girls had a time. Did you start crying? A time to speak. And Elena was so brave and just kind of gave her testimony. And I think I know some of the girls talked to me afterwards, and it just really spoke to them, and they were just excited to get to know her a little bit more, and it was neat to see that. Okay, I gotta be done.
Yeah, that was awesome. And what was really cool, too, was then seeing that the next day, whatever, John so excited about his wife and the way that she was serving that week and stuff, and just it was pretty awesome. So yeah.
And then I have to follow that. Yeah, so this week, actually, last year we went to Momentum only like being with the youth group for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So last year was very awkward for us as leaders. Maybe
not
not
me.
John.
She's
Me,
speaking for herself.
Personally. I'm not a huge go-getter and like get out of my comfort zone. So this year was actually really cool for me because I've had a full year with a lot of these students. But I think one of my favorite parts of this week, not that I wanted Carrie to be hurt. Carrie was laid up a lot of the week. So it actually made me have to step up and be like, okay, here I am. You guys have to come talk to me and let me know like what's going on and everything. So that I think was definitely a God moment and being like, nope, Elena, this is why you're here and you are here for these kids and you need to step up and get to it. Like, let's go. So one of the nights, like I did share my testimony with the girls, and a lot of the girls, we had 17 girls go. Some of them are not part of our church on Sunday mornings and they just come to youth group. So that's not a lot of time when you have 33 students to be like, okay, I'm going to get to know every single one of you. This week was really good for me to be able to do that with those girls and actually get to talk to them individually one-on-one and participate with what they were doing. And the whole worship, when the power went out, that was just amazing. There was storms leading up to the session, and they made us stay into this separate building, and you're like, you're not allowed outside. And of course, all the kids that I was with, they were like, we're running, we're going. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to stay in this building. That's where we're supposed to be. So, but once we got into that building and the power went out, it was breathtaking because you have 2,000 students dead silent. Like, literally could have heard a pin drop. And then for all of them to just start singing and turn their flashlights on their phone, I mean, and you could see everything at that point because everyone had a cell phone turning on flashlights. It wasn't even like the power went out. So that was really cool. That was the highlights of my week.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Well, for me, I thought I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Us boys, we had a good time. I think they tried to avoid me a little bit, like in the beginning. So I got to a point where, like, no, we're going to talk some Jesus. So I literally went into their room. It was locked. I knocked on the door. I walked into the room, and I closed the door. I'm like, and we just started talking about Jesus. And it was great. And I ran out of time. I wish we had more days. But I'm actually kind of jealous of Elena, to be honest. Just to see her from the first momentum to this momentum, I'm such a proud husband and the leader that I knew she was capable of because just the way her relationships with some of these girls, they would literally come find her. Like some of the girls came to me, hit me on the shoulder. Hey, where's Lana? What about me? Like I'm cool too, but just how she interacted with these girls, it's just. I was just blessed. Like I feel like a blessed man. I'm unworthy of this woman here, but God says otherwise. But that's for me, that was the highlight of just watching her do her thing. And, it was just so cool. And also, just for me, for the worship, I love the worship nights. It was awesome. But I wasn't like watching the kids. I wasn't like studying them, but I was watching them because just to see those kids really surrender. Like, I'm telling you, when they were worshiping, they weren't just worshiping. They were giving it all. They were just with their hands up, their palms open. They were just opening up. Like, it doesn't matter who was around. It doesn't matter who was watching. They were just so focused on worship, just the Creator. And it makes my heart beat out of my chest because it's awesome, just awesome.
Yeah. To say that it's a tiring week is probably an understatement. So
Sleep.
It's yeah. There's really not much sleep going on. I don't think we went to bed. At least the guys didn't. I don't know about the girls exactly, but the guys didn't go to bed before 2:00 in the morning a single night.
Show.
At least. But just to give you a little bit of perspective of what happens, like the late session that night, it's over at like 11 o'clock roughly, and then we go out from the building and we gather in the youth group times, like Carrie mentioned, and our youth group has kind of developed this area that we go to the last couple of years. There's a Gaga pit right outside of the main session, basically, that it's on the concrete there and stuff, but all of our group just gathers, they get inside the Gaga pit and sit down in this little circle. Which is kind of cool, and then we stand out on the outside of it, and sometimes hop into the middle, and John jumps around and bounces around all over the place. But but we get together then, and we just talk in that circle about the sessions that we had that day, and about what they did, and the power tracks they went to, and then it's a great time to just really have some of these students open up. And we had students open up this week and stuff and share hard things they were going through, things that they struggle with, that kind of stuff. And they're sharing it with this group of people that they feel safe with because they've started to build this relationship with them over the week. And as the week goes on, you can see the group getting more bonded together, which is so amazing when that starts to happen. It happens every single year, and I'm always still so like blown away by how it happens, how they just start to bond together and they begin to share with one another and that kind of stuff, and it's so cool. And then you go home, you go back from that, you go from the Gaga pit to our dorms, and then you would think you'd just go back and go to sleep, but that's not how it happens. You go back to the dorms, and then it's a little crazy in the dorms, and there's every night it's crazy, but there's these great conversations that happen. John and I, the first couple of nights, we sat in the hall basically till like 2:00 in the morning, just sat on the floor in the hallway talking and stuff. and every time a student would walk by, we're like, "Hey, have a seat, man."
Yep.
And then we just start a conversation with them and start to pry some stuff out of them. How's God's working on you this week? What's something that you've experienced, here so far, that you really enjoyed or whatever. Just trying to start these conversations. And then towards the end of the week, like we're having these great conversations with them and some really deep stuff is happening, and it's pretty phenomenal. To say that I love youth conferences, again, another understatement. But it is a challenging week, right?
Very.
It's not the easiest thing. The food is wonderful, right?
We got fed.
We got fed.
We got fed.
They made
Steak
sure
and shake.
we didn't die.
Steak and shakes.
Steak and shake was pretty good. Fazoli's was my favorite. Yes, we went to when we got there. It would have been Monday night. We went to Fazoli's, which if anybody doesn't know about Fazoli's, you need to check it out. If you're ever in anywhere they have a Fazoli's, you got to go there. It's fast food, Italian food with breadsticks that are melt like butter in your mouth, kind of like Olive Garden,
But better.
just better.
I agree with that.
And then steak and shake the next day. So that was the really good food we had. On campus, it's it's edible. So you get creative. Yeah, salads were my friend for a lot of the dinners and stuff. But even despite all of that, there's just such an atmosphere there of just thankfulness and gratefulness and stuff. And the students, you can tell, they're just having such an amazing time that even the food can't get you down, right?
Yes.
It was pretty amazing. Anything else you guys want to share? Any other thoughts or comments about the week?
I'm going to have so much to say. I'm just not going to
I
say
know.
we'll be here till people need to go home. You know what I mean?
Exactly. All right. So, so what we're going to do is we have a video that we're going to show. The video is it's a recap of our group. And it's kind of like what they did, and it has some of our students talking on the video and things like that, which is really cool. I put this together, and I tried to edit it down to as short as I could. So it's it's not real short, but it's as short as I could get it. Let's just put it that way. But I'm looking at it, I'm going, how do I take any of this out? I can't take any of this out. It has to be in there. And so we're going to show that video, and then we're going to have the students come up then after we show the video. So go ahead and show the video. what has been your favorite part of Momentum so far this week?
Definitely the dorm room. I love the dorm rooms.
The dorm rooms? All right, all right.
Yeah, probably the dorm rooms.
Except when you gotta share it with this kid.
Yeah, just hanging out in the dorms. All right, that's cool. We have a lot of fun.
Probably wrestling in the dorms or like in the mosh pit, just like going crazy. It's fun.
Hey, it's on. It's on.
We are recording now.
We're not taking this out.
We're not taking this out.
My favorite thing is the youth group time at night.
Mine's probably the worship and just seeing everybody come together in the mosh pit and praising God.
Nice. All right, cool.
Mine's probably the worship too.
The worship too? All right, all right.
The worship.
Worship?
Probably sessions, the way just the speakers speak out and what they have done really spoke to me this week.
The worship.
The worship? All right.
It's been really
all right.
good.
You guys?
I'd say the worship and just like all the songs, like they've been really like hitting, like, and they're so good. Like you
Yeah.
just sang along with them, and just the excitement is it's great.
That's good. All right, all right.
The music, all the friends,
Okay.
all the exciting times.
The music, friends, exciting
Yes.
times. There's lots of that this week for
Yes.
sure, right?
My roommates are one of my favorite parts.
Okay.
And worship.
And worship. All right. Roommates and worship. All right.
Mine would be the power tracks.
The power tracks?
Power tracks.
So what's a power track for the people that may not know what that is?
Come on.
What would you call that? It's like a breakout session?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's a
You
breakout.
just get more into depth about it.
Another topic. All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
I like the worships and hanging out with my friends.
And the what?
Hanging
out
out
with
with
my
friends.
Oh, the worship and hanging out with friends. All right, cool.
Rockin'.
Definitely either in the mosh pit or like just how many people there are here and like the freedom and stuff.
The music is great in the sessions, but what about the speakers? Do you have a favorite speaker this week?
Mark Clark.
Mark Clark? Why is Mark Clark like your favorite speaker? What about him?
He's very down to earth. He doesn't talk to you like he's preaching to you. He's just talking to you like a normal human being. And I relate to some of the stuff he said a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And it's just, he was also very entertaining, and it was very nice watching his session.
That's awesome. All right, Rocky.
My favorite from the session was Mark Clark as well.
Yeah.
I just like that even though he was very like inspiring, he still was funny with it. And then like Corbin, I went to his PowerPoint like the second day and I instantly enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
He was just so loud and funny, and like it wasn't just so serious. Like it just made me want to listen to it then.
Yeah, that's awesome. All
I would
right.
have to add a third Mark Clark.
Mark Clark. He's a very popular guy
Yes.
this week.
He's just very funny.
Yeah.
And I think he really just brings it up a notch, and it's just
Yeah.
fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Mark Clark is a fan favorite.
Mark Clark.
Mark Clark.
He was
All right.
incredible.
He's from Canada.
Canada.
Mark just really went out there and he's like, listen, like, guys, like, I'm terrible. Like, I'm a mess. God should not be using me, but he is. And he had Tourette's syndrome, and he just got out there and he used it for the glory of God, which was so cool.
He stood up there and told everyone, in front of everyone, he said, "I am a fool."
Yep.
One of the notes I wrote down, it said, I or we look stupid, but God is looking good right now. He looked over at the big monitor with the big screen of his face, and he's like, I look like a moron. And it was just, it was so raw and such a real session that everybody could have connected to. And it, just that part of saying, I am a fool, but God is using me for greater things.
Yeah.
I'd say Mark Clark.
Mark Clark?
Oh,
All right.
Mark Clark, he's
yeah.
my favorite.
What about Mark Clark makes him your favorite speaker?
He's just really funny and like kept my attention the whole time, and like just talked to, like made things relatable.
Yeah. Yep. Very relatable. All right. What do you think?
Corbin.
Corbin?
Corbin.
All right. Yeah. What made Corbin stand out to you?
Man, he was a very interesting guy,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
He should be a comedian.
Yeah.
Definitely Mark Clark.
Mark Clark? What made him your favorite guy?
He's like real with you. He's not like just going on about different stuff. He like feels you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Talks
he's not
about
fake.
Talks
Yeah.
about his own self.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Who was it? We gotta speak up.
Keith.
All right, Keith. Keith Veneer. He's
Mine
pretty
would have
awesome.
been Corbin.
Corbin? Yep, he was
I
pretty awesome.
I liked Mark Clark.
Mark Clark?
Mark Clark. Well, my favorite speaker was Mark Clark because he was so funny, and then also he was very, very serious about what he was saying.
Yes,
He was funny, but you really got a great message from his speaking.
Mine was Tony because he was really funny, and he was making like everybody laugh.
All right, Tony. All right, sweet.
Tony.
Probably Mark Clark because he was funny, but like he also like was serious at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mine was also definitely Mark Clark. He was just, I think he spoke to me the most. He got out to me the most. He was also very funny. So.
All right.
Yeah,
Awesome. All right,
Mark
cool.
Clark, definitely a fan favorite. So outside of the sessions, outside of the power tracks and like our late nights, like what activities that they have offered here at Momentum, like what has been your favorite?
Probably my blanket that I made.
The blanket that she made.
Yeah,
Love it.
Marissa talked about the blanket craft.
Elena also made one.
There you go.
Well, it's definitely not dodgeball because Ian really messed that one up.
Ian mentioned that too. Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I definitely enjoyed the tournaments. I've only participated in 2 tournaments so far.
Yeah.
Not done great.
Was the dodgeball tournament fun for you, Ian?
No, we don't have to talk about that.
Okay. All right. We don't have to talk about that. All right. Yeah.
Me and John, we just played Ultimate the other day with another youth group, youth pastor. It was so much fun.
So much fun.
We were sweating wet. There's a picture that's going to be in this video.
Yeah.
That's like we're
Yeah.
we're like rock on me, we're glazed over in sweat. Like we were just having so much fun. And yeah, high chews, late nights.
Late night high
That's
chew.
the new Momentum thing, dude.
If you don't know what a high chew is, you need to find out. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like another great part about Momentum is that there really is stuff for everyone. So like I don't want to be in the tournaments. I like watching them. I don't need to play Ultimate Frisbee to have a full week in Momentum. But I just love getting to sit down and have really nice talks and sit at the coffee shop and have nice talks, play card games, like relax in the hammock and have nice talks. Just really just spend time enjoying people and deepening my relationship with people. I made a blanket and I tie that in a t-shirt.
That's awesome.
Just mainly playing games around campus, and I know that tonight we're going to the jewelry class. I think that probably will be my favorite.
The jewelry class, another craft. There you go.
I think it's doing different activities
Yeah.
that you haven't done before.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely doing different activities in like different places.
Different places. All right. Sweet.
Well, mine was either spike ball or gaga ball. It was a lot of fun.
Playing basketball.
Playing basketball?
Playing basketball. I like basketball, and we went to Walmart and decorated our dorm, which was pretty fun.
Racquetball room.
Racquetball.
Oh, the
All right.
racquetball room. Did you
All
play
right.
volleyball?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
volleyball.
fun.
All right,
It's so
racquetball.
fun,
Yeah,
man.
racquetball is awesome.
Basketball.
Basketball. Yeah, you played in the basketball tournament, right?
Yep.
Yeah, ball's life.
All right, was that fun for you?
No.
All right, what's your favorite, man?
Probably the cornhole.
The cornhole? All right, yeah, there's lots of games set up outside, right?
I love making bracelets with Kirsten and Matt.
Janila here, who is actually from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, who joined our group. She actually had a very special event. Today is her 18th birthday. And so we celebrated. You can see the little sash that we got her. They decorated her room. They sung to her. So that was pretty awesome, right? That was pretty
It
cool.
was great. I was actually surprised. I
Yes,
was very
they surprised
surprised.
her. It was really cool. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And then there was one other person. There was one other person that really comes to mind. Someone who gave their life to Jesus. Woo! Yeah! Ryan! Woo! Ryan.
Let it go. Let it go. With the wind and sky. Let it go. Let it go. You'll never feel it cry. Let's go. Right foot again. Left foot again. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp. Freeze! Everybody clap your hands.
Can you go down low? All the way to the floor. How low can you go? Can you bring it to the top?
Oh, yeah.
Like it never ever stop. Can you bring it to the top? One hop. Right foot.
Oh my. As you can see, we had a pretty awesome time at Momentum. I mean, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of really good times. But as you can see right there at the end, that highlight, there's the one person from our group at least that gave their life to Jesus while we were there was amazing. And that
Whoa, hang on. Let me tell you the story. I have to tell you real quick. I hope we have some time. We're probably running out of time.
You
Who
got
cares?
time.
Who cares?
We're good.
So Ryan, okay,
Captive audience.
If
It's okay.
anybody know who Ryan is, he's the big man that sits over here. Okay, he's like stout. He looks scary. You know, he has that cool flat bill hat. You know, I'm like, I dig that. Okay, so we go to Momentum, and he has a little brother named Zach. Okay, you know who I'm talking about? Okay, good. So we go to Momentum, and I see him first night, Tuesday evening at worship, like this. This is Zach. I mean, this is Ryan, okay? This is Ryan. This is who he is. That's what he does, okay? So I watched him. Cool. Next, Wednesday, so we have a morning session and an evening session. So the next session, he's kind of getting into it. He hears the music, and it's like, okay, so his hands are out of his pocket. So I'm still watching this guy, because these kids inspire me, okay? So he's getting into it, whatever. So the evening session, now that he went to Power Tracks, he had more time with all his bros and his sisters, okay, whatever. So now he's starting to get a little clapping, he's starting to move in. He's starting to get groovy. I'm like, all right, he's getting it. I'm watching this kid. He's making me want to clap louder. Okay, so then about Thursday evening, I could see this guy, like, putting his hands up like this. I see his opening his palms up. And that's a sign of surrender. And this kid, he makes me shake. And it just, oh my gosh, he just inspired me so much. And then when, I forget what speaker it was, but he was like, hey, if he talked about the gospel, he talked about Jesus going to the cross, dying for you. And he's like, if you believe that right now, I want you to stand up. And this, just think this congregation times like 20, okay? That's how many people in there. And mostly it's all kids, okay? So it's his peers, which makes it even harder in my opinion.
And he specifically said, no eyes closed, no heads bowed, like
lights on.
Full lights on.
Everything is on. And so there's a chair in front of me. He's like, if that is you, I want you to stand up. He grabbed the back of that chair and he stood up like this. That's how he stood up. Okay? That's who Ryan is. Okay, so, and me and him were just like, like, we can't even breathe, And I was, that video, you see me like yelling at him, it's because I was just telling the youth group again that he accepted Jesus, and I was just so excited. But then just to see him then afterwards, oh my gosh, he was so inviting. I just wanted to hop on his back and he would carry me around. I just wanted to be around him the whole time. It just gets me all excited. And then the last night, he went in front of the whole group. He went in front of all of us and he just talks about how he wanted to change, how he wanted to go back to school and he wanted to change. And I'm just like, who is this kid? Like, man, just awesome. And just this trip, he accepted Jesus, and that is what we live for. That's why we go there. Yeah. And it just gets me all pumped up. I'm just going to sit down. But, that was such an awesome time. That's how that went down.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, for Ryan.
Yep. Yeah. And so he made that decision, but there was almost our entire group went down forward at some point to make some type of decision, whether that was that they felt maybe God might be calling them into full-time ministry, which I think there were actually one or two of them that were confused about that and went down front, thought it was for something else, and they went down for that. And I'm like, full-time ministry, that's awesome. Like, yeah, I didn't realize that's what that was for. I thought it was something else. I'm like, okay. I'm like, we'll talk about that later. That was the Holy Spirit giving you a nudge. But anyway, or just recommitments, saying that a lot of them went down and said that we want to be that change when we go back. We want to go back from Momentum, not the same person that we were when we came here, but we've gone through this change since we've been here, and we want to take that home with us. And they said, I want to do that, and they went down front when they called for that, and it was pretty awesome to sit there and to see these students going down and doing that. And you're just sitting there in your seat just praying for these kids as they're doing it, and I'm like, this is just amazing. It's such a phenomenal time, and we couldn't have done it without you guys, without our church. I put on there at the end of the video, thank you, Community Grace, because we mean that. Without you guys, that doesn't happen. These students don't get to Momentum. They don't get to have this experience without you guys. It's you guys and the financial support, the prayer support, the encouragement, all of that stuff is so valuable. It means so much to this church and to these students, and it's because of you guys that we're seeing the life change in these students that we have. And so I want you guys to remember that, you are absolutely part of this. You are 100% part of what happened at Momentum this past week. It was amazing. I'm going to have all the students come up real quick and just stand here behind us, behind the chairs. You want to make sure that's on? There you go. Just have you guys all come on out now. So as you can see, I think there's 16 of us here this morning of the students. So we've got half of the students that actually went on the trip. I know a number of them are on vacation and that kind of stuff and couldn't be here for that reason. And other ones, just for whatever reason, couldn't be here this morning. But this is a pretty good representation of our group. Again, it's about half. But I just want to give them a round of applause. These guys are awesome. I was so excited as we started taking the registrations for Momentum, and I started seeing them come in one by one and stuff, and I'm like, okay, all right, and then we get to 20, and I'm like, wow, we got 20 kids already, that's awesome. I was like, last year we had maybe 23 students. I'm like, okay, then we got to 25, 26, I'm like, hey, this is awesome. Next thing I know, we're up to 33 students, and I'm like, this is amazing, this is going to be a wonderful trip. And these guys, every single one of them, I can guarantee you was impacted in some way by this week. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open it up to you guys for a second. If there's anything that any of you would like to share, I'm not going to put you on the spot. We won't force you to speak. But if you would like to share something,
Michael, you're first.
I would love for you to share something this week, maybe something that meant something to you or whatever, or a commitment that you made, however it is. Whatever you want to share, go ahead. The mic is right over there. John will bring it to you. Just put your hands up. Micah, did you put your hands up?
Oh, he did.
Oh,
I saw that.
I saw hands go up. I thought maybe.
Hey, I did want to prove a point, though. I told him that if I shaved, I looked like I blend in with the kids. Is it true?
Exactly. So, all right. So who wants to share? Anybody want to share?
Come on, Alex. You're always talking.
It's like pulling teeth to get him to share in front.
Kiana wants to go.
That means you want to go.
Well, Lila can go first.
I'd say the two of them can go together. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I can go
Seriously? Come on, you guys talk all the time.
No? Nobody wants to share? You don't want to share anything at all?
Come on, man.
I see Cohen looking. He's thinking about it. I can tell. No? Oh, yes. We got one to break the ice.
Okay, so it's kind of, Momentum is a really good experience because whenever, like, you're at church, like most of the younger kids, like, don't put their hands up or, like, don't really sing, but, like, when we're there, we're, like, everyone, like, really, like, puts their heart into it and, like, really gets into it, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it's really nice to see, like, all the younger kids and the older kids, like, blend together and, like, have conversations that they wouldn't normally have.
Yeah, that bonding experience, that's awesome. All right, who's next?
Do you want to say something, Maddie? Are you sure? I thought you were saying something. Oh, okay. That's all, dude. All right.
So at Momentum, I rededicated my life because I did not feel like I was putting full trust into God and putting my life to Him. I felt like I was walking away from Him, not walking towards Him. So we did this thing, it's our God dream, and that really spoke to me. Jeff Bogue was also one of my favorite speakers. I could honestly just cry standing here, but they all really spoke to me, and it was just amazing seeing whenever the power went out. It was amazing. Oh my goodness, we were all standing down there in a big group crying because it was so amazing, and you could really feel God. You could tell that He was there. It like Carrie said, it was a little taste of heaven. It was amazing.
Powerful moment.
I know that for me, it was just really great seeing everybody like come to God and just really like grow in their faith, especially Kiana and Ryan. Ryan's great. I think it was just amazing seeing everyone just grow in faith and stuff.
All right. Somebody take this thing.
See what I did there?
All right. Pass it down. Somebody will stop it. Cohen going to stop it? No. Oh, they're passing it quick. We'll see. Is it going to get all the way back down to John? Oh, I guess so.
Oh, pass it back. Here you
go.
So
all right.
I will say, you know, with the worship, whenever the power did go out, their voices were so loud when they were worshiping. Like I would sing, and I wasn't able to hear myself sing. Like that's how loud. Like these kids were singing, and there was nothing on the screens. It was just like the backup lights, you know. So there wasn't any words, but everybody knew the words, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. All right, anybody else? Last chance. If you want to say anything, just throw your hand up.
I'm pretty sure Alex wants to talk about basketball. He told me. He gave me the wink. No. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna do one more thing here, and then I'm gonna put you guys on the spot one more time, and that is, would one of you guys like to pray to close our service? And one of you guys like to pray? This is how it goes in youth group time too. So it's quiet for a little bit, but usually somebody will volunteer. So you want to pray? All right, Kiana, you want to bring the mic down?
It's always
for her?
Kiana. You guys are a bunch of slackers.
Kiana, Lila, Hayden, Ian, they're kind of our staples.
Hayden and Ian are here.
I mean, I looked if anybody else wanted to go. I mean, did y'all see that? Okay.
All right. You want to go ahead and pray?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. I thank you for all this lovely church. I thank you for our youth group kids. I'm so thankful for every single one of them. I really bonded with all of them. It's amazing seeing all of us come together and actually be a family. I'm so proud to call them my brothers and sisters, and I just want them to know that I do love them, and I will always love them. And I also thank the church for providing for us to go to Momentum. It was really great for all of us. I also hope that just we keep providing, and I am so thankful for our youth leaders and our youth leaders. I just thank you for all of them because I know I can come to them with anything. Lord, I hope you just take every burden that's on everyone, just take it away from them. In your name, amen.
Amen. All right, you guys can go and have a seat. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So again, I can't stress how much this week meant to us, even, and to these students. And again, I'm going to say it again because I think you need to hear it. Thank you so much as a church. Thank you so much for what you do for these students, because none of it would happen without you. It's phenomenal what we do and the way we do it here. It's just awesome. These students, their lives have been impacted through things like camp and Momentum and things like that we do. They get so much out of that, and it's because of you guys and your efforts and your willingness to come behind them and make this happen. So thank you so much as a church for doing that.
Yes, thank you. I also want to say thank you. It's just like we're there. We get to experience where these kids, just get to worship and just take all the love in, and it's done because of our church. Now, the one thing I did learn is that there are more than one Community Graces out there.
Yes.
But I will say there's only one in here, baby. Because I was like, oh, yeah, we're from Community Grace. And I'm like, oh, which one? From this? And I'm like, I had no idea there was that many. But, church, thank you so much. I am so beyond blessed to be a part of these kids and to help lead. And it's just awesome to be on the front lines to see them grow. Like I saw growth in those 5 days that I was there with each of these students. I may not got to talk real intimate conversations, but just to see them grow together, it's just mind-blowing. It's hard for me to tell you how this looks, but I'm telling you, talk to one of these kids and you'll be blown away. All because of you. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So now with that being said, we are doing a youth group fundraiser, which is in the lobby, which is the envelope fundraiser, because we still have to pay for the rest of the year. So Momentum is done, which is amazing, and you guys were phenomenal. But there is a youth group fundraiser in the lobby. You can grab an envelope. On the envelope, it has a number on there. There should be 1 through 100, but Elena, no.
Yeah, it's
just
all
kidding.
Elena's fault.
No, there's numbers on there. You just take whichever one you want, whatever the number is on the front of the envelope. You just take that amount of money and you put it in the envelope and turn it back into the offering box, and it goes directly to the students, directly to doing events and things for them. Just like tonight, we have youth group tonight at the Friendship Village. We're going there. We're going to have miniature golf and ice cream. Any students 6th through 12th grade, even if they didn't go to Momentum or they haven't been to our youth group before, they are more than welcome to come. And they bring $5, and the church covers the rest. So it'd be miniature golf and ice cream at Friendship Village tonight. So, all right. We have a video that we're going to show here in a second, and as the video is playing, this is a recap video that Momentum makes. It's just like a quick 2-minute video, but it's their recap of the entire week, so you can kind of see what a professional video looks like instead of just mine. But it's a recap of just kind of the week or whatever, and it has a couple of the speakers talking on there too a little bit. And as that's playing, the worship team's going to make their way forward. So thank you so much, guys. We love you guys.
God uses you not because of you, but in spite of you.
And as you're going about the First Commission, make disciples as you're doing that work.
The more you experience God through His Word, the more you will begin to trust Him.
When you start living
in the context of your God dream, life starts to make sense.
Let's stand together as we just celebrate what God has done in our teens' lives over the last week and celebrate also what God does in our lives every day. So let's sing together. This is our God.
2, 3, 4.
Remember those walls of sin and shame. They were like prisons, he couldn't stay. But he came and he died and he rose. Those walls will rumble down. Remember those giants called death and grave. And they were like mountains that stood in our way. But he came and he died and he rose. Those giants are dead now.
Come on, sing with us.
This is our God, this is who he is. He loves us. This is our God, this is what he does. He saves us. For the cross, beat the grave, and heaven and earth proclaim. This is our God, King Jesus. Remember that feeling took our breath away. Face so weak that we could barely pray. But he heard every word, every whisper. And now those altars in the wilderness tell the story of his faithfulness. Never once did he fail, and he never will. Come on. This is our God, this is who he is. He loves us. This is our God, this is what he does. He saves us. For the cross, beat the grave, let heaven and earth proclaim. This is our God, King Jesus. Who pulled me out of that pit? He did. Who paid for all of our sins? Nobody but Jesus. Who pulled me out of that pit? He did. Who paid for all of our sins? Nobody but Jesus. Who rescued me from that grave? Yahweh, Yahweh. Who gets the glory and praise? Nobody but Jesus. Who rescued me from that grave? Yahweh, Yahweh. Who gets the glory and praise? Nobody but him. This is my God, this is what he is. He loves us. This is our God, this is what he does. He saves us. He bore the cross, beat the grave, let heaven and earth proclaim. This is our God, King Jesus. He bore the cross, beat the grave, let heaven and earth proclaim. This is our God, King Jesus.
We thank you guys for coming today. all out youth.